This is part 1 of a brief overview of 7 of the major elements of fiction. For the purposes of this course, these elements have been divided into 2 categories: the mechanical elements of short fiction and the figurative elements of short fiction, or metaphorical. In this video, we'll discuss the mechanical elements of short fiction. The word mechanical refers to the functional aspects of a system, basically those essential elements that enable a system to work as it should. For example, on a car, these elements would include the engine, the transmission, the fuel injection system, and so on. Those very basic, but far from simple, parts that enable the car to go. Your basic mechanical elements of fiction include setting, character, conflict, plot, and point of view. Let's break each of these down. Setting refers to the where and when of a story. Where does it take place? Detroit, Michigan, the Old West, a crypt. When does it take place? December 6th, 1980, high noon, the witching hour. And by the way, what do you notice about these particular whens? Each represents a very brief span of time. Short stories don't cover long periods of time. In fact, usually time is very compressed in a short story. Character refers to the who of a story. Who are we reading about? Whose headspace are we privy to? In short fiction, as you know from your reading, there are a number of different types of characters: flat, round, static, dynamic. Regardless of whether a character is any one of these 4 types, characters in short fiction are fully realized individuals, representing complex and realistic portraits of humanity. Characters in short stories will behave in ways that are appropriate to their personalities, that's called decorum, but still sometimes surprise us with their actions. Which leads us to our third mechanical element, conflict. Conflict occurs between 2 characters when one character's actions do not agree with another character's. It can be physical, or it can be emotional. Conflict is perhaps the key element in short fiction. It has the potential to bring about change and/or epiphany. It's the force that propels the plot from beginning to climax to end. Plot is not only what happens from beginning to climax to end, but also how it happens. How does event A lead to event B, which in turn leads to event C, and so on? Plot is about the causal relationships between events. In other words, to summarize the plot of a short story is not just to tell what happened, but also how it happened. What chain of events brings the story to its inevitable conclusion? The last mechanical element, point of view, is very simple. A story must have a narrator in order to be told. There are many different types of narrators. The naive narrator, who isn't always aware of the many ironies and complexities at work in his story, the unreliable narrator who can't be trusted to tell the truth, and the omniscient narrator who knows all and sees all. And each one of these will always tell his or her story, or another character's story, from one of 3 points of view: first person, second person, third person. Third person, of course, as you probably remember from high school English, can be limited to one character's point of view, or omniscient, encompassing all characters' points of view.